Amanda slipped out through the back door, her shoulders hunched in defeat. A sight like that might have tugged at my heartstrings 5 years ago, but now it barely registered. Some folks crash and burn because fate deals them a bad hand. Others, they crumble because they confuse stepping stones for thrones. Hey there, Amanda here. The first time Ethan caught my attention was back in Programming 101. While the rest of us fumbled with basic loops, he was breezing through complex algorithms, crafting solutions with a finesse that left me in awe. His quiet brilliance, the way he explained concepts without a hint of arrogance, it was magnetic. Within weeks, we weren't just study partners anymore. We spent nearly every free moment together. Now, 3 years deep into our startup, he rolls his chair next to mine. His mug, stamped with the words "work hard, stay humble," sends spirals of steam up to fog his glasses. The office clock blinks midnight, but when you're knee-deep in code, time loses all meaning. "You missed a semicolon," he says, pointing to my screen. His familiar scent, coffee and mint gum, lingers around me as he leans in. Nights like this, filled with takeout cartons and relentless debugging sessions, had become our routine. Together, we'd been building our dream one painstaking piece at a time. Then my phone buzzes with a notification. Goldman Sachs. My pulse quickens. They want to talk about the acquisition. The number $300 million flashes in my mind like a neon sign. "Here, let me fix that," Ethan offers, his shoulder brushing against mine. 3 years of shared moments like this. 3 years of wondering if we'd ever cross that thin line between friendship and something more. "Thanks, but I've got it," I reply, pulling back to create some distance. This offer changes everything. Goldman Sachs isn't interested in a cute little startup romance. They're buying into a powerhouse. They want a killer CEO. His expression shifts. "You're taking their offer?" "Obviously," I say, unable to keep the excitement from spilling into my tone. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, Ethan. $300 million. Connections to the biggest players in finance." "What about what we planned?" he asks. "Building something meaningful together?" I snap my laptop shut. "You mean staying small? Playing it safe?" "Ethan, I'm thinking bigger." The words taste cold and metallic, like a script I've rehearsed too many times. 2 weeks later, I'm standing in La Colombe coffee shop, surrounded by investment bankers clad in sharp Armani suits. Their gazes pin me down like spotlights as I outline the growth projections for our company. "Impressive trajectory," Matthew Wilson, a managing director, says, his Rolex catching the light. "But what about your technical co-founder?" "I handle all strategic decisions," I respond, lifting my chin. "Completely autonomous." "What about Ethan, right? The guy who helped build this?" I force a laugh, carefully calibrated. "Oh, Ethan's great, but he's not exactly executive material. Sweet guy, but he's more suited to maintenance-level work. I need people who think bigger." The bankers nod, already glancing at their phones, satisfied. I've made my point. Later that night, at the celebration party, Ethan finds me holding a glass of champagne. "Congrats on the Goldman deal," he says, his voice subdued. "Thanks," I reply, barely looking at him before turning toward a cluster of executives. "You should meet Matthew. He's overseen trillion-dollar mergers." "I was hoping we could." "Matthew," I call out, cutting him off. "Tell them about the Goldman deal." Ethan vanishes into the crowd, but I don't watch him leave. My focus is locked on Matthew's jokes and memorizing hedge fund names. I'm too busy mapping out my climb to the top. The next 6 months rush by in a whirlwind of boardrooms, charity events, and Instagram-worthy yacht parties. My social media glows with perfectly curated snapshots of my meteoric rise. Ethan keeps commenting on the press releases. My new assistant says one afternoon, scrolling through notifications, "Block him," I reply without hesitation. "But he's been so supportive," she protests. I barely glance up from my laptop. "He's not part of this world anymore." I gesture to my sleek corner office, all glass and steel. "I've moved on." My reflection in the window stares back at me. Sharp, polished, unyielding. It's everything I ever wanted to be. Successful, ambitious, unstoppable. I've outgrown those nights filled with debugging code and quirky t-shirts. I'm a CEO now, and CEOs don't look back. Not even when the midnight silence echoes with the memory of shared dreams and what-ifs. Not even when the sweet taste of success feels like betrayal. As I order another late-night coffee, this time alone, I remind myself of something. You can't build empires on vague possibilities or maybe someday dreams. Hey, Ethan here. The coffee in the office tastes like someone melted burnt rubber and poured it into a cup. But I drink it anyway. Around the conference table, my team buzzes with energy, their faces lit up with excitement. It's been 5 years, and we've created something tangible, something that matters. Not one of those flashy startups designed for a quick sell-off, but a company with depth and purpose. The gaming giants want our engine, Nicole announces, tossing a proposal onto the table. She's 25, wickedly smart, and not even a little bit like Amanda. 7 studios are interested, she adds. Make it 8, I say, sliding my phone across the table to show the latest email. Nintendo's on board. The room erupts in cheers. Paper airplanes soar over computer monitors, and someone cracks open a bottle of cheap champagne. We're not the rooftop party with VIP cocktails kind of crowd. We're the roll-up-your-sleeves and get-it-right team. My phone buzzes. A LinkedIn notification. Amanda's name flashes on the screen, and my stomach knots. It's the first time I've heard from her in 5 years. You okay, boss? Nicole asks, her AWS architect badge catching the glow of the overhead lights. You just went quiet on us. Ancient history trying to creep into the present. I reply, pocketing my phone without reading the message. Let's focus on celebrating. We order pizza, lounge on beanbags, and debate feature updates. No venture capitalists with their spreadsheets, no designer label egos, no fake smiles. Just us. Julia from marketing starts telling cringeworthy puns, and DevOps launches into a full-on Nerf gun battle. This is my kind of party. Later, sitting alone in my office, I finally open Amanda's message. Her profile picture radiates power. Sharp suit, rehearsed smile, and a backdrop that's clearly staged. The message is polished and professional. Impressive work with your gaming engine. I'd love to discuss a potential collaboration. The cursor blinks. 5 years ago, that message would have stopped me in my tracks. 5 years ago, her recognition might have meant the world to me. But now, not so much. I glance at the framed photo on my desk. A snapshot of our team from a gaming conference. Nicole's kissing my cheek mid-laugh right after we nailed our breakthrough presentation. That's real. Real success. Real connections. Nicole appears in the doorway, holding out a fresh cup of coffee. You're worse than the interns, she teases. Says the woman who coded straight through Christmas. I shoot back. That was different, she says, rolling her eyes. I was racing a deadline. She perches on the edge of my desk, craning her neck to peek at my screen. Oh, she says, spotting Amanda's profile. Her. You know about Amanda? Ask. Ethan, everyone in tech knows about Amanda, she replies, wrinkling her nose. 3 failed startups, millions in funding burned through, and a reputation for ghosting her teams while taking credit for their work. Why is she reaching out to you? I close the LinkedIn tab with a click. Doesn't matter, I say. She's running out of bridges to burn. Nicole hands me the coffee. And you're running out of excuses to stay late. She pauses, her cheeks flushing. A rare sight for her. Dinner, she says. The new ramen place. Then, almost shyly, she adds, actually, I got us reservations at that French bistro. My chest warms, though it's not from the coffee. You hate French food, I remind her. I hate seeing you chained to your desk all night, she says with a grin. Besides, they've got amazing desserts. We walk to dinner as the cool evening air wraps around us. Nicole talks about quantum computing, her hands flying as she gestures enthusiastically. Nothing about her feels rehearsed or calculated. She's just her. Smart, vibrant, and refreshingly real. My phone buzzes again. Amanda's second message pops up. We should catch up. For old time's sake. Delete. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. They're better left in ashes. Sometimes people are left in your past so better ones can step into your present. You're doing that quiet thinking thing again. Nicole teases, nudging my shoulder gently. Just planning our next game engine. I reply, pulling her closer. Something revolutionary? She asks, smirking. More revolutionary than falling for my AWS architect. I say, grinning. Nicole groans at the pun, but her eyes sparkle with amusement. We reach the restaurant, and I step ahead to hold the door open for her. Inside, the air is filled with soft music and a warm ambience. No networking, no pitches, no status games. Just real, honest connection with someone who sees me for who I am, not for what I can offer. As we order wine, my phone buzzes. Amanda's third message. I don't bother checking it. Some so-called upgrades are just downgrades in disguise. And sometimes decisions make themselves. My finger hesitates over the send button. It's the third LinkedIn message I've sent Ethan this week, and each one has gone unanswered. The office around me is silent, the kind of silence that follows another brutal round of layoffs. Yesterday, more of my team was let go. Now it's just me and a handful of empty desks. In the dark monitor's reflection, I catch sight of myself. Mascara smudged, hair frizzed out of control. Not exactly the picture of success I used to imagine gracing a Forbes cover. The board's waiting for an update. Chloe, my assistant and the last holdover from the glory days, pokes her head in. They want the updated numbers, she says, her tone professional but weary. Tell them I'm still compiling data. I reply, the lie slipping out as smoothly as ever. The truth? The numbers are a disaster. Worse than I've ever seen. A chat notification pops up on my screen. Ethan's gaming engine stock is climbing again. My stomach twists. This is the same Ethan I laughed about with investors, dismissing him as basic, forgettable. Now, his company's valuation dwarfs my dying startup's worth. Ms. Simpson, Chloe says, stepping back into the room. Matthew's on line 1. Matthew, Mr. 3 successful exits. Take a message, I say, forcing my voice to remain steady. He's calling about the loan, Chloe adds, hesitating. I said take a message. My voice cracks, and I fling an empty coffee cup across the room. Chloe's lips press into a thin line, but she doesn't flinch. She's been with me for 6 years watching my meteoric rise. And now this. The industry dinner is tonight, she says softly. Should I confirm your speaking slot? The words sting. Last year, I was a keynote speaker on the main stage. This year, I've been relegated to a breakout session about learning from failure. The mighty fall far in Silicon Valley. Another email lights up my phone. Some tech blog is running a Where Are They Now? Feature on failed unicorn CEOs. Delete. I glance in the mirror of my private bathroom. Harsh fluorescent light reveals fine lines around my eyes and a growing number of gray hairs. 33 stares back at me in mocking silence, a reflection of my arrogance and missteps. Your car's here, Chloe calls from the doorway. I straighten my shoulders, swipe on a fresh layer of lipstick, and steel myself for another performance. The event space hums with activity, packed with fresh-faced young founders whose ambition practically radiates from them. They cluster around the rising stars of the industry, including Ethan. I spot him near the bar, relaxed in jeans and a blazer. Beside him is a woman who exudes intelligence, her hand resting casually on his arm. She's young, stunning, and, if I had to guess, brilliant too. Of course she is. Amanda Simpson, a voice booms. I turn to find Matthew grinning at me, a drink in hand. The queen of vaporware, he says loudly, and the crowd laughs at his joke. It's the same Matthew I once climbed over Ethan to impress. Still smug, still tearing through investor cash. Or have you finally hit bottom? He adds, flashing a toothy smile. The room seems to tilt, the laughter and whispers pressing in around me. I make my way to the bar with trembling hands and order a double scotch. Rough quarter? The bartender asks as he pours. Rough life, I mutter, taking a long sip. The The burn doesn't soothe me. Ethan's laughter carries across the room, easy and unburdened. His team clearly adores him, and I overhear someone mention that his company is about to launch something groundbreaking. His girlfriend, I couldn't help but look her up, has 3 patents to her name. My phone vibrates again. Another board member demanding answers. Another investor pulling out. Another reminder of how far I've fallen. In the bathroom, the mirror reveals smudged mascara and tear-streaked cheeks. Women shuffle past me, avoiding eye contact. The former golden girl, reduced to a sobbing mess at a networking event. Tomorrow, I'll be the talk of every blog and Slack channel. Your speech starts in 5, Chloe texts. I splash cold water on my face and straighten my blazer. Time to go out there and tell these hopeful young founders how to learn from failure. Me, the woman who traded real connections for hollow ones, who sacrificed substance for style, and who's now paying the price. Who would have thought that upgrading meant stepping over others to reach the top? As I step out of the bathroom, Ethan passes by. For a fleeting moment, our eyes meet. There's no malice there, no smug satisfaction at seeing how far I've fallen. There's just nothing. I'm nothing to him now. And isn't that the most fitting karma of all? The industry dinner buzzes with a manufactured kind of energy. Founders drift from table to table like sharks on the prowl, their faces plastered with practiced smiles and perfectly rehearsed elevator pitches. Nicole slips her hand into mine under the table, grounding me with a simple squeeze. It's her silent way of reminding me, we're not like them. We build, she whispers, fixing my collar. We create. We don't play these games. Your keynote's in 20, she adds, her voice low but reassuring. Am I nervous? About announcing the Nintendo deal? I ask, smirking. Never, but my gaze drifts to the bar. Amanda's hunched over, nursing what I'm guessing is her 3rd scotch of the evening. Her designer dress looks loose, like she's lost weight. Expensive concealer barely hides the dark circles under her eyes. Stop it, Nicole says sharply, her voice cutting through my thoughts. Stop what? The guilt thing. I can see it all over your face. It's not guilt, I reply after a pause. It's more like pity. Nicole's expression softens as she studies me. She made her choices, Ethan. Memories stir, unbidden. Amanda laughing with Matthew, casually dismissing years of shared effort and connection like old lines of obsolete code. The sting of it dulled long ago, replaced with something closer to detached curiosity. How did I ever mistake her ambition for substance? My phone vibrates with a stream of congratulatory messages. The gaming engine's runaway success has spawned dozens of imitators, but we're still leading the pack. No smoke and mirrors, just real innovation. Every member of my team has been credited by name in articles and magazine covers. No faceless, ghosted developers here. Mr. Campbell? I look up to see a young intern holding a tablet. Amanda Simpson is asking if you have a moment. Nicole's grip on my hand tightens slightly. You don't owe her anything, she says firmly. I know, I reply, standing and adjusting my jacket. But maybe I owe myself some closure. Amanda waits in a quieter corner, her fingers idly tracing the rim of her glass. Up close, the cracks in her carefully curated image are unmistakable. Chipped nail polish, scuffed designer heels, a slight tremor in her hands. You look well, she says, attempting her old calculated smile. I always knew you had potential. No, you didn't. My words come out calm, not cruel. You thought I was beneath you. Her polished veneer falters. I was wrong. About everything. Her voice trembles. Maybe if we tried again. There is no again, I reply firmly, stepping back as Nicole approaches, holding my presentation notes. Some bridges are meant to stay burned. The young, hotshot AWS architect? Amanda says bitterly, her voice sharp. Really? That's what you replaced me with? Nicole doesn't blink. Actually, she says smoothly, I'm the one who designed the quantum computing interface for his engine. The AWS work? That's just a hobby. Handing me the notes, she leans in and kisses my cheek. You're going to crush it, babe. she says with a warm smile. Amanda's expression crumples, her voice breaking. I could have been, but you weren't, I say evenly, glancing at my watch. It's keynote time. As I turn to leave, I add, good luck with your board meeting tomorrow. Her eyes widen. How did you? Industry talks, I reply, shrugging. Especially about 3 failed startups and disappearing investor funds. I hesitate for just a moment before saying, get help, Amanda, real help. The stage lights are bright and warm as I step onto the podium. Hundreds of eager faces turn toward me, ready to hear about the future of gaming and innovation. Nicole sits in the front row, her pride radiating like a spotlight. My team flanks her, tablets in hand, ready to capture every detail. Success isn't measured in exits or valuations, I begin. It's measured in lives improved, problems solved, and bridges built. As I speak, Amanda slips out the back door, her shoulders slumped. 5 years ago, watching her leave like that might have stirred something in me. But now it barely registers. Some people crash and burn because life deals them a cruel hand. Others, they stumble because they confuse stepping stones for pedestals. The presentation flows effortlessly, each word landing with precision. We unveil the Nintendo partnership, announce 3 groundbreaking patents, and reveal a revolutionary AI integration. The audience's applause is real. No polite golf claps here, just genuine excitement. Later, while celebrating with drinks, Nicole scrolls through her phone and pulls up an article about Amanda's latest venture. Another startup imploding, she murmurs, shaking her head. More layoffs. Another board investigation. She looks up at me, her voice softer now. Do you ever regret it? The road not taken. I glance around the table at my team, these brilliant minds who've chosen creation over competition, substance over style. Then at Nicole, whose genius is only outshone by her compassion. Some roads, I reply, pulling her closer, are better left untraveled. The boardroom is a ghost town now. 14 empty chairs surround the massive table, their occupants long gone. My heels click against the marble floor as I pack the last remnants of my corner office into a plain cardboard box. It's amazing how fast empires crumble. Chloe appears with the final severance papers, setting them down on my desk. Beneath them is her resignation letter. Need anything else? She asks, her voice calm but distant. A time machine, maybe, I say, forcing a weak smile. 5 years back ought to do it. The joke lands flat. My phone lights up with headlines. Tech Wunderkind's final fall. Simpsons' third strike. From unicorn to obituary, a Silicon Valley tale. I run my fingers over the smooth wood of my desk, the same desk I once thought symbolized power. Next week, someone else will sit here, making promises, chasing glory. The cleaning crew will wipe away any trace of my existence. Ethan's quantum gaming announcement doubled their stock, Chloe says, her tone matter-of-fact, devoid of malice. They're calling him the next Zuckerberg. The words hit harder than I expect, a bitter irony that burns worse than cheap vodka. I scroll through old photos. College days, the first office, the night I chose Matthew's connections over Ethan's loyalty. It's a gallery of regrets, a chronicle of missteps. The investors are asking if you'll attend the tech summit, Chloe says from the doorway. Your panel spot, she hesitates. Got bumped to the cautionary tales breakout session. My laugh echoes in the empty room, hollow and sharp. Pass, I say. A notification pops up on my phone. Nicole, Ethan's partner, is announcing their engagement. The photo shows the two of them surrounded by their team, champagne flowing, genuine joy radiating from every pixel. There's no pretense, no staged poses, just happiness. My apartment feels cavernous and cold that night, filled with designer furniture but devoid of life. The wine I pour costs more than my first computer but tastes like ashes. From my balcony, I look out over Silicon Valley, a sprawling sea of opportunity. Once it felt like this city was mine for the taking. Now it feels like it belongs to someone else entirely. In the bathroom mirror, I can't escape the truth anymore. Every line etched on my face, Every strand of gray, every sign of aging I've tried to ignore stands in sharp relief. 33 years old, and in tech years that might as well be ancient. My phone rings. Matthew, no doubt, probably eager to gloat, or worse, pitch me some amazing opportunity. Delete. Another call. A reporter fishing for a comment about the board's decision. Delete. Then my mother, her name glowing on the screen. I don't answer. What could I possibly say to her? I open LinkedIn one last time. Ethan's profile picture greets me. A candid shot of him laughing with his team, wearing a simple t-shirt. No power poses, no professional headshots. The engagement post already has thousands of likes. His authentic success feels like a cruel reminder of my own artificial rise and inevitable fall. I raise my glass in the empty room, a bitter toast. To bridges burned, I murmur, and karma served ice cold. My finger hovers over the message button on Ethan's profile. What could I even say? Sorry I treated you like a stepping stone. Sorry I mistook ambition for success. Sorry I became everything I once hated. Instead, I press delete. The act feels final, like closing a door that should have stayed open long ago. Some mistakes can't be undone. Some paths can't be retraced. Outside, San Francisco sparkles with possibilities, for someone else now. My kingdom of cards has crumbled, leaving only clarity in the wreckage. Success built on sand collapses as quickly as it rises. Chloe's final text pings on my phone. For what it's worth, you could have been amazing if you'd chosen substance over style. I stare at the screen, my fingers hovering over the keyboard, but there's no point in replying. What could I possibly say? She summed me up better than I ever could. It's humbling, really, when your assistant understands you more clearly than you understand yourself. Tomorrow I'll have to face the press. I'll hear the whispers as the industry watches my tumble from glory to gossip fodder. I'll sit through the questions and the quiet smirks of those who thrive on schadenfreude. But tonight, I sit alone in my cavernous apartment, surrounded by things that scream wealth but hold no meaning. Designer furniture, priceless art, state-of-the-art gadgets. Every piece feels hollow now, and for the first time, I truly grasp what Ethan tried to tell me all those years ago. Some upgrades aren't upgrades at all, they're downgrades in a shiny disguise. And sometimes, the person you dismissed as a stepping stone becomes the one whose success you can't even begin to reach.